A round of applause, please.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us back after the break. So first off, nice to meet everyone. I just recognized that maybe Ross and I need new headshots or new jackets because it looks like we're wearing the same thing in our headshots as we are right now, but that is okay. So Jim McGarry, I've been channel chief at Dialpad for the last 5 months, and I have to tell you, I'm so excited to be in this room today because not only are we going to touch on Dialpad, where we're at, where we're going, but we actually have an exclusive announcement today for this group. We had the opportunity to meet with Dom earlier in the year, and when we talked about the presentation of what we wanted to talk about at Cavell, we made the agreement that we can actually make a worldwide announcement here on the stage today. So we'll get to that in just a second. And while I'm talking about Cavell, I will mention really quick, I've done so many events this year throughout the Americas and inside of Europe to this point. Round of applause for everybody in the room, for the Cavell team, because they have really done a fantastic job targeting an event, highly attended as well. So to the Cavell team, thank you, everybody. It's a great show, and looking forward to what's coming. Okay, so a little bit about Dialpad. How many in the room are familiar or transacting with Dialpad today? Got a few hands? Fantastic, we'll take that. Well, I think what we're going to talk about today is going to be even more exciting about where we're headed in our future. I do have my friend Ross up here with me today. The original idea was for him to deliver a little bit more of the content so you weren't just hearing from me. But he's got a little bit of a groggy voice today, and I did not want to break his streak of 4 years in a row on stage at Cavell, so we wanted to make sure that he had the opportunity to talk today. But when you think about Dialpad, everything that we've talked about so far today in these sessions, I think everybody knew when they walked in today we were going to talk a lot about AI. We're going to talk a lot about what the customer's perception is of AI. We're going to talk about how vendors use it, how partners are engaging with it, what customers are saying as well. And I think it's really important time in our industry and what we're building and what we're doing together, because AI has truly changed the conversation. And at Dialpad, when we talk about AI, we look at it at a completely different perspective of where we're going and where we're going forward. Dialpad's been talking about AI for the last 5 to 6 years, to the point where our CEO, Craig Walker, would actually tell you that the board 4 or 5 years ago was telling him, hey, you got to stop talking about AI, right? Nobody knew quite what it was yet, but we saw the vision, we saw where it was going, and we were headed in that conversation as well. But now that conversation changes from just talking about AI and what a lot of us think about as generational AI and kind of that first version of what that is, to really driving tasks, to really driving the engagement, to driving the interactions through agentic workflows. How many people are familiar with when I say agentic, what it feels like? Yeah, everybody's good on agentic. And I think that's really what's so interesting about where the industry is headed and where we're headed at Dialpad as well. Now, we heard early on from the team at Cavell and from others that we're seeing this increase in the amount of companies who are going to look to deploy more agents. They're looking to grow throughout the year. And there's this dichotomy between people who are maybe somewhat hesitant into how they're going to deliver and deploy AI. I've had conversations in the break that the conversations in the UK and all of Europe, even to some degree, are that people are hesitant. What does it mean for me? What does it look like? Do we trust it? How do we use it? How do we leverage it? I will tell you that's not just here, that's everywhere, right? We deal with the same thing in the Americas. We're dealing with the same thing in the APAC countries as well, of what that looks like and what that's going to be. What I want everybody to think about when you connect Dialpad with what we're doing in the agentic space is the contact center, the customer journey is the most important thing in the world to us. How do we improve a customer's engagement, a customer's interaction with us, and how do we deliver more valuable content to them and to the human on the other side of that phone call, of that chat, of that message at the same time? How do we deliver more to make it more impactful? When everybody's talking about agents continuing to grow, the thing we're not talking about is how are they going to grow? They're going to grow through expansion. They're going to grow through scale. They're going to grow through being able to sell more of the products that they offer today. And for all of us in the room, and this is mostly a partner event, which I absolutely love, we have to talk about the pieces of how do we all go out and how do we monetize that? How do we make that look? How do we take it to that next conversation and to that next interaction for our customers as well? And that is what we came to announce today. So I know Ross has been talking about this for a little bit. I've had my experiences in my past from launching programs and launching the routes to market that include the capabilities to resell for our partner community. And today, I can tell you that we have officially launched the resale program in UK, in Europe, and actually globally as it stands today. So I'm gonna give ourselves a round of applause for that one. And I think the timing of this is so uniquely different and so interesting as well. When we think about, I think about my journey through, I was probably been a telephony guy for a long time, selling PBXs, moving into cloud, moving into voice over IP, having SIP conversations, and all the while partners in the room are always telling me, well, I need something for my engineers to do. That was the resistance that we had when we moved to cloud. And I need something for, how do you handle the support? My revenue model changes. Everything else looks a little bit different when we go into the market when we're talking about these unique products. And for Dialpad, what we've gone to go build is we've truly built the best margin opportunity, as I see it. Someone could argue when they look at the financials, but I don't think they will. But we wanted to create the best margin opportunity and the best revenue opportunity for our partners in the channel. For our reseller partners, how do we scale with the licenses growth that we need? Most important thing to probably most of you in the room is high volume, margin rich, professional services and support revenue. That's gonna be a key moniker for everything that we're gonna do going forward as well and what we talk about. And then the third piece, and I think this is where the interesting part starts coming into play as we go through that next transition of what customer and partner engagement looks like, is how do we work in the agentic workflows into your bill of materials, but also leverage a brand new margin opportunity into a managed service conversation that is going to continue to evolve, to continue to make you a leader, and continue to make you the subject matter expert with all of your customers as well. So that margin opportunity has to start with a couple of different components, right? Because that margin has to continue to grow and scale as you continue to grow and scale. The leading indicators are telling us on the agentic workflows, we've built this incredible tool called Skill Builder. If you haven't seen it from Dialpad, come by the blue booth. We can have a conversation as well. But think about the administrative platform inside of our Skill Builder tool that will actually go through the entire call history, the entire workflow of your contact center business and start giving you predictable models about what agentic workflows could actually go in front of your business to help enhance the customer experience, to help actually build out to say, hey, I'm seeing password resets coming in at an exorbitantly high rate. I'd recommend that we build out an agentic workflow skill that will solve those on all first call resolutions. We'll give you the ability to be aware of it, we'll give you the ability to test it, and we'll give you the ability to make it go live in just a matter of minutes with our tool. It's absolutely incredible. But all of that means for you all is that there has to be a margin opportunity in that. There has to be the opportunity for you to be able to create that managed service, to have that customer interaction, to allow you to go forward and to allow you to continue to consult with your customer. So what we've built is the capability for all of our partners to be able to resell licenses. Every single license that Dialpad offers is resellable on your paper, which that's step one. That had to be step one. Number two is that the services had to be completely yours. So being able to deploy your services for deployment, for your custom SOWs, if that's the route that you go to market and choose. But the piece that I'm most proud of is that you can now handle all tier 1 support for your customers with an escalation path into Dialpad to get to tier 2. That piece is vitally important to your business, it's vitally important to our business, and it's vitally important to the customer journey. And we wanted to make sure that we were able to facilitate that. And then when we look at agentic, Ross is going to talk about it right when we close out. We're saving his voice just for that. But when we look at the agentic opportunity, this is new to a lot of us. This is new to all of us. You're not new to adding new routes to market inside of your businesses, but how do we go out and monetize AI? How do I make it a tool that is margin rich for me and it's accessible for my customers? And how do I go wrap a services wrapper around that so that when we can build those workflows, we actually have a managed service component that comes with that as well. So all of that is complex. right? There's a lot of things that you have to be able to do really, really well if we're going to go out into the market, if we're going to go get you to look at Dialpad, to invest in your business, to continue to build out customer relationships with your customers that you have today. And what that takes is it takes another level of operational excellence that we had to pursue in order to do that. And that's the piece that I want you all to understand, and as you're getting more into Dialpad and as you're having more conversations, the operational layer is just as important as the margin layer. It's just as important as the ability to have all the licenses on your paper as well. So what we've done is we've made it incredibly easy to transact. We have portal tools. API tooling will come to be able to give you the access into the tools that you're using today. But what we wanted to build is just make it simple. Dialpad, make it simple. You guys have a great product. We know where we're going on Agentic. How do you make it simple for me to transact? So every partner, as they come into the equation, gets the same discount. We're working on a margin stack for each one of those partners to be able to access more rebates based on what you deliver, based on how you deliver, what that customer success looks like, volume. All of those things will only add to your margin stack. So now you know that when you go into a market, you can be competitive with your pricing, and then we can assess additional margin opportunities from the rebate perspective as well. But that simplicity is key. The ability to take licenses, provision the licenses yourself, be able to take that first call of support, triage what you need to, and have the confidence to escalate to tier 2. Those are the things that I constantly hear from partners every single day, and we wanted to make sure that we deployed a model that worked for you all. And then we get to the last piece before I hand it over to Ross, is how do we transact Agentic? There's so much opportunity that is coming when you look at these workflows and you look at how customers are building. We're not interested in displacing the human as the part of the journey. In fact, all the stats that we saw earlier show that the human engagement is going to continue to grow. But as they scale, there's opportunities for agentic workflows to take place of really basic, easy conversations to, again, make the customer experience that much better for them. So now we have the capability to take all of the agentic tools that we have, give you the capability to monitor what that usage looks like, monitor what their commitments look like, give you the reporting capabilities to be able to see that, and ultimately bill for that revenue as well, which is vitally important to the blood flow of every single one of you inside of this room today. And when I hand it off to Ross, there's a comment I want to make, because we've been talking about monetizing AI for years, right? I've been on these panels, I've been on all these things. We talk about the monetization of AI and what that's going to look like. Where Dialpad is putting our money where our mouth is we are actually going to show you how to do it. You're cautious about it, you're nervous about it, it's a new muscle for every single person in this room to a lot of degrees. How do we go build the SOWs? How do we go have the intelligent conversations about what workflows need to look like? How do we all enable you to become subject matter experts, to have that conversation, to make you feel more comfortable in positioning with your customers as well? So with that, Ross, I'll let you go to what the next steps are for us.
Thank you. I get the last two slides, which I think is quite the most important two out of those. For me, heading up the channel for EMEA has been quite important to be able to bring out wholesale to you guys, because I think that's really important for us to be able to deliver that choice to do, whether it be via referral or via wholesale. You've heard a lot from Jim there around what we've been doing and how we're going to be doing it, but there actually is actions around that. We've got our first training session for engineers in July, and that is also going to be around our agentic AI modeling, what that looks for you, how to proposition it, where does it sit, how to deploy it. So we're actually putting these words into action and actually delivering this model to you guys today. So I'm quite proud to be alongside Jim today to be able to announce that. Also, again, most important slide on the deck, we're also having a round table at 1 o'clock. I would invite all of you to come along so you can actually hear more around what this proposition looks like and talk around maybe some of the financials as well. With that, I'm going to save my voice and I'm going to hand back over to Jim. Thanks very much.
Perfect. Thank you, Ross. And I think that is it for us today. So thank you all for the time and attention. I know we took a little bit of a different tilt, but it was the opportunity for us to talk to you about a new program for all of you to know that's coming. And I appreciate the Cavell team for letting us go do that as well. Patrick, over to you.
Thank you.